Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Frank, Michael Phelps is going to race a shark.
I'm Frank Isola. Kornheiser tried that this morning, said to report, didn't make it.
See, I told him he goes out to his third or fourth house in Delaware. It's right there in the ocean. I said, Tony, stop taking a little fishing rod and sitting right there in the ocean. There's some big fish in there that will get you. He didn't listen.
I said, wrap yourself in tuna, jump right in. Take a chance.
Clearly,
it's better for me. I'm here.
You're here, more than me. Welcome to PTI in the wake of Kornheiser's unfortunate incident. I'm pleased to be joined by our great friend from the New York Daily News, Frank Isola.
It was a lot louder when you were at the finals.
A lot louder. We begin with top of the NBA draft intrigue. Mark Stein and Zach Lowe report that the Celtics are in serious discussions with the Sixers to trade out of the overall number one spot. Boston has been flirting since the lottery with taking Markelle Fultz at number one, but the Sixers are reportedly dangling the number 3 overall pick, along with at least one other pick, and they have some good ones in the next 2 drafts. Frank, this rarely happens in the NBA. Does it make sense to you?
This is an absolute blockbuster. 6 days before the draft, and you're already having the number 1 pick. Looks to be on the move to the Philadelphia 76ers. It looks like Markelle Fultz is going to be the guy because there are reports out there that he's going to fly to Philadelphia tomorrow to meet with the Sixers. This is huge. Obviously, the Sixers have somebody in mind that they want with the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And then Danny Ainge, he must be okay with whoever he's going to get at 3, whether that's going to be Fultz, who could drop that far,
right,
Josh Jackson,
or
Lonzo Ball. So Danny Ainge probably he feels like he's okay with whoever he gets at 3.
Let's play this out because that's all that's going to be talked about between now and Thursday's draft is what it is the Philadelphia Sixers are going to do. Is it? I mean, who do they want to put there? I think the medical records they're waiting on. Yep. Also, it looks like they want a Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz backcourt. Sort of. Yep. We can't use the word backcourt anymore, right? But their 2 primary playmakers would be those guys. You put them out there with Embiid and Saric, and I don't know what happens to Okafor, but they're looking at that if they don't have to redshirt another rookie for a couple of years, being the center, being the core of their team. And then you're right, Ainge must be looking at this saying either, and all reports are that he, like all other executives, has fallen in love with Josh Jackson, that the Celtics could go any way there and improve their team, plus pick up more for the future. But to me, the only risk is if Danny Ainge wants to deal with beating Cleveland now, why do you even chance having a guy that you really want?
Well, first of all, they do have Isaiah Thomas as a point guard, okay? Right. And maybe they're going to give him a contract. But think about what happened in the NBA Finals. Athletic wings. And I get it. We're talking the 2 best players in the league, LeBron James and Kevin Durant. But if they're in love with Josh Jackson, they believe they can get him at 3. Now you're getting another pick for down the road. We know the way Danny Ainge operates. He loves to collect assets. It's worked with the trades that he made with the Nets. Obviously, this is that pick right here. So he has somebody in mind specifically, and I get it. They have Jaylen Brown. They have Jay Crowder.
You need wings. You need multiple.
You need athletic wings in the NBA.
Yes.
And I still think a big part of their philosophy, believe it or not, is we're waiting for LeBron to get old. Now, we might have to wait till he's 50,
years.
because he never seems to get old. But I still think they're thinking it's still Cleveland right now. We're going to be patient right here.
Yeah, the Ainge move. This is a gambler move.
This reminds you
a little bit of former boss Red Auerbach, does it not?
Yeah, and people have said that Fultz could be a franchise-caliber player. So for Danny maybe to pass on, that'll be interesting. All right, Lonzo Ball was scheduled to have his second workout with the Lakers Friday, amid reports that LeVar Ball's son is considering talking to other teams that have asked to meet with him. So what the heck has happened here? For the past month, Lonzo to the Lakers seemed like a done deal. But over the last couple of days, we've seen the trade situation with the Celtics and the Sixers. Of course, Josh Jackson, his stock is rising through the roof. And through it all, LeVar won't stop running his mouth.
Really?
So, Michael, did Lonzo and his infamous dad, did they misplay their hand right here?
They don't have a hand. They got to wait. This is not they don't suggest who they go to. They don't even have any leverage. Yeah. This isn't like John Elway sitting at the top of the draft deciding whether to play baseball, 30 years ago and then, forcing a trade and going to Denver. They have no hand. They have to wait until the draft is called, their name is called, and he will report to whomever drafts him. This is an employer-employee situation as much as his father doesn't like that.
But did he make a mistake
in doing what?
Not working out for the Sixers and the Celtics, two teams that are picking the top three?
You know what? The Sixers, who do everything in a newfangled way, may need a workout. Danny Ainge actually scouts. You know how many times you and I have seen
and
him leaving the building, get on a plane,
Danny Ainge likes Lonzo
and he
Ball.
likes him a lot, and he's seen him play, and you can go back and figure out what it is that you like or don't like as much about Lonzo Ball, and you call his name and you deal with him and his dad.
Yeah.
But there's no hand. There's no leverage whatsoever that rests with Lonzo and LeVar Ball at this point before the draft.
Yeah, and by the way, Steph Curry did not work out for the Golden State Warriors. They ended up drafting him, and it worked out pretty well. Now, Jay Williams said on ESPN that he looks at LeVar Ball as kind of the Kardashians of the NBA. See, I think with Magic Johnson, though, I don't think he's worried about that. And I think the Lakers, they kind of like all the attention. They could kind of deal with that.
I just think
they
that
dealt with it
LeVar
over the
Ball
years.
has also lived in Southern California long enough to know that there's one guy that he's not going to out-gunsling. There's one guy in Southern California that LeVar Ball doesn't want to run up against because he's going to lose, and that guy's Magic Johnson. He's not popular enough. He's not big enough. He's not savvy enough as a businessman. He's a great dad, it seems, from all indications. So he and his son, once again, don't want to antagonize everybody either. But I still think at the end of this, Frank, somebody's going to call Lonzo Ball's name, and would it surprise you still if it's the Lakers?
Is he going second, though? I've heard that they might take Josh Jackson. Maybe this could be for down the road because maybe a guy named LeBron James could end up in L.A.
Falls as far as Phoenix?
No, I don't think that'll happen. I think he'll end up there. He won't go further than 4. No way.
Okay.
No way.
Frank, dare we talk about an already established NBA player instead of draftees? Mark Stein is reporting that the Celtics aren't the only bird of prey circling Utah's Gordon Hayward. Miami appears to be a threat as well. Miami finished last season 30-11 after going 11-30 to start. But the Celtics, if they added, say, Hayward and Josh Jackson, would have a better chance next spring to beat Cleveland. So if you're Hayward, where, after you leave $43 million on the table, are you going as a free agent?
See, I would like to see him stay in Utah. They won 51 games. They have a chance to be the third best team in the Western Conference next year. They drafted him. You know, that's your place. But listen, if he were to leave, and you wonder now, is it all connected somehow?
Yeah.
Because I get it. Teams can't talk to free agents until July 1st. But believe it or not, somehow, some way, they find out that a player might be interested. Maybe the Celtics know that they're going to get Gordon Hayward, who his college coach, Brad Stevens, is a coach of the Celtics. He would fit in perfectly there. Got a great young roster. But when I was out in Utah in March, I did hear that the Miami Heat are in play here, and that Gordon Hayward, he loves the idea of being a big star, being a big guy in his team. You know Miami is an attractive free agent destination.
Of course it is. Maybe the second most or mostly. But my question
winning
would
tradition,
be,
the low
is he a
state
star
taxes?
player of that sort of impact that he can go into a place? Look, being part of an ensemble cast, and a very nice one in Utah, by the way, which is sort of in part where I'd like to see him stay. Let Utah bubble up. They've got a nice team. But can Hayward go to Miami and now bigger stage, bright lights, more demanding fan base? Be the guy for them? I just wonder about that.
I think he can, because this year he won 51 games in the Western Conference, and he was an all-star for the first time. And it sounds like he wants that type of pressure, that attention. And Miami with Pat Riley, and you know that Pat Riley is going to put together a roster that's going to compete.
He would get some of that. I'm more intrigued by the situation with Boston. Everybody thinks that they just handed the Cleveland Cavaliers another Eastern Conference championship next year looking forward. Hold on.
Yeah.
I mean, the Boston Celtics are in place that if they make that move with Hayward alone, they get better. And depending on how this draft turns out, I mean, suppose Danny Ainge gets his man, free agent and draft. Suppose he gets both of them. What, they can't challenge Cleveland next year? I think it's really premature to sort of award Cleveland that if Boston gets better. But that depends to me on what Hayward decides.
And Danny Ainge obviously looking to do something, build for the long term. And,
challenge now and build for the long term.
And that's what they did this year, even though, obviously, they got smoked. Even though it was a 5-game series, it was technically a sweep. All right, Paul George, who has been linked to a potential move to Cleveland to help LeBron, of course, probably beat Golden State, said Thursday that he's committed to the Pacers and believes with the right moves, Indiana, believe it or not, could be the best team in the East. Get ready for this, Michael. Paul George said, we did the best against Cleveland, meaning of all the Eastern Conference teams, and we could have won that series. All right, so just to recap, the Cavs swept Indiana in the first round. So is Paul George reasonable to think the Pacers can contend next season?
The Indiana Pacers should have won Game 1.
C.J. Miles at the buzzer.
I mean, it's just, so they didn't do that, and then they sort of couldn't pull themselves together. And you look at their roster, and they don't have the kind of personnel that will challenge Boston or Washington, and certainly not Cleveland next year. to be sort of Eastern Conference supremacy or even runner-up. So no, Paul George is at a local function in Indy. This is what he's supposed to say. He's under contract to them. I'm glad he feels that way. I hope he really does. He's going to be there, right? I mean, and by the way, Paul George is now the next intriguing situation leading to draft day will be who will send assets to Indy for 1 year to get Paul George before he decides to go off to the Los Angeles
Remember how
Lakers.
mad he got they didn't get that last-second shot in Game 1?
That's
he
right.
makes it in the Gatorade commercial.
Well,
That was actually nice to see.
It much other than that.
But you're right, though. When you show up at an event like this, at a charity softball event, downtown Indianapolis, and you're asked about your future with the Pacers, you don't say, you know what, I'd really love to go to the Lakers one day.
No,
but next year I'd like to play with LeBron. Obviously, you're going to say, I want to be in Indiana because I'm under contract, so it's the right thing to say. And, yeah, I believe we can challenge Cleveland. But realistically, we believe that eventually he's going to move on, he's going to go home, probably to the Western Conference, probably somewhere in L.A. I just wonder, could he end up next year in Cleveland with Kevin Love?
That could still make some sense because
Kevin
Love would be a free agent the year after that. So you don't feel like you're giving up assets that are under your long-term control because you're not.
Yeah.
And so you get him for a year, but guess what? When you got LeBron for 1 year yourself, you want to maximize that season. I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it. I'm not saying it's
going to happen. Then get Carmelo on a buyout. There we go. Super team.
We just
super team.
LeBron doesn't want to be part of a super team.
He's going to be. I'm trying to put it together. You can thank me later.
Already done it. I'm telling you now, this last story in the A block of this show, in the great PTI tradition, will be dominated between now and August 26th by boxing, which means by Mayweather versus McGregor. Today's installment deals with all the money being bet on Conor McGregor, who boxing experts believe has no chance whatsoever to win this fight. One sportsbook manager in Las Vegas also says there could be as much overall money wagered on this fight as is bet on the Super Bowl. Frank, first of all, who the hell is betting McGregor and why?
I looked at the demographics. It's either Irish Americans.
Well, that's pretty good.
It's either MMA fans or people that just love an underdog. Because everyone is saying that he's got no shot, that he could get knocked out in the first round or the second round. You know what? You go to the Kentucky Derby, there's a 50-1 horse, 50-1 shot. You know what you do? I don't know horse racing. Yeah. I'm going to put $50 down. Your case, 100 down.
This reminds me of kids related to a school near and dear to both of us, driving from L.A. to Vegas one summer, one Labor Day, 1995. They look up and they see Northwestern about 1,001 shot to reach the Rose Bowl. They go, ha! And they put down whatever their parents gave them to go to school, $1,000, and they go collect $1 million or whatever it is after we go to the Rose Bowl.
That's right.
You bet the money on McGregor because you can make a lot of money. If you don't have any to put down, you make a lot of money. The real bettors, I don't believe, are betting on McGregor. The interesting thing that you said really is the MMA portion. Maybe they believe their guy has a one-swing chance at knocking somebody out, even Floyd Mayweather.
There was a video of him sparring with someone from 13 months ago where he got absolutely demolished.
McGregor.
Yes, thankfully he was wearing the headgear. But he's not going to have the Olympics in Vegas. But it speaks to what people love about boxing, the whole underdog story.
Yeah,
so Conor McGregor's going in as this huge underdog.
You think anybody's thinking on the fix?
Don't say that's not nice to say.
Let's take a break. But coming up, will the beef between LeBron and Draymond last all summer?
And a frustrated Cristiano Ronaldo. What the heck does he have to be frustrated about? He could ask out of Real Madrid.
Where's he going?
Do you think that's going to happen?
Where do you want to go? Madrid, man. You're in Spain. As we told you at the top of the show, Tony's not here, so no one has to wear a stupid costume for fortune teller, right, Frank? Okay, then.
The water was bad enough.
Let's take the first call.
Hey, Frank. Hi, Mike. This is Anita from Alaska. Do you see the Draymond Green, LeBron James back and forth going on all summer?
Have you seen this stupid beef? I mean, I don't even count this as any sort of back and forth. Somebody wears a T-shirt last year that mentions Warriors, and the Warriors think LeBron's talking about them, and now they're talking about somebody did something too quick. This is, I guess, really for millennials. This is not a real beef. Nobody's calling each other real names that I understand. Yeah. Do you understand the beef that is alleged to be out there now?
Remember, too, Draymond has been on this video thing that LeBron does where they sit in a barbershop. This was back in New Orleans over All-Star break. So they're kind of buddies with this whole thing.
So this is all fake. This
is
fake
what I
beef.
think it is.
Not just fake news, fake beef.
Exactly. So when he got up at the podium yesterday, bro, you started the super team. He's going back at LeBron, and then LeBron is releasing the video.
I wasn't on a super team except he was.
Yeah. And then LeBron's, shaving his head, trying to look like Michael Wilbon. So he's trying to upstage the Warriors yesterday. Come on.
So basically, these guys are just trying to drive more social media traffic to get more followers for themselves, and this is nothing.
There's a reason why they call LeBron the king. He's the king of the social media athletes.
He's number one. These guys know what they're doing
Absolutely.
in that regard. What is the next call? Let's take it.
Hey, fellas. I want to know, do you see Derrick Rose returning to the Knicks?
Ooh. I'm letting you take this first. Derrick Rose going back as a free agent, which he is now, to the Knickerbockers after all this flirtation with Minnesota and Tibbs and blah, blah, blah. What do you think he's going to be?
Well, the good, he played in 60-plus games, second year in a row. The bad, he ended the year once again injured with a meniscus injury. He was making $21 million last year. If you're the Knicks, you can't go long-term deal with Derrick Rose. But Phil Jackson did bring him in. He traded for him on draft night, remember last year.
Yes.
B.J. Armstrong is Derrick Rose's agent. We know the relationship.
Phil's guy won three championships with
if I'm
BJ.
the Knicks, believe it or not, because they could take the French point guard with the 8th overall pick, I would take Derrick Rose. It's got to be a short-term deal, though.
But you still he can just be a player, maybe even a rotation player differently. You don't depend on him for those kinds of minutes that you're used to. I don't think there's any doubt. You don't want to go in thinking Derrick Rose is going to give you 35 minutes a game anymore.
No, but I would do this. If I were the San Antonio Spurs, obviously, you're kicking the tires on Chris Paul. If I can't get Chris Paul, I'm going after Derrick Rose.
I like that.
Become a three-point shooter again, Chip Englund,
I
the whole
love Derrick
thing.
Rose. I want
Spurs,
him to have one more run at
he
glory.
could get it in San
Let's
Antonio.
take the next
see
call.
Hi, guys. Love your show. I want to know, do you see the Mets having any hope left?
Another New York question. What is it? Tony funneling these questions in? The New York Mets have no players.
Yeah.
All right? Every single person on their roster gets hurt every night, it seems. They have no starting pitching staff, and now you got position players. Look at this. Look at this.
That was Neil Walker the other night, hamstring. He's out. Matt Harvey, shoulder. He's out. They announced that.
When has Matt Harvey been in?
And then later on, that same night, Juan Lagares breaks his thumb. Cespedes is out. Syndergaard is 4 weeks away from
that
even
means
throwing the ball.
delayed because we were talking about a July 1st return. Now we're talking about an August return, right?
Yeah. So and by then the season may be over. So for the Mets, their season ended last night.
I'm
9.5 behind the Nationals, by the way.
Object to as a New Yorker, the Mets are a bigger disappointment than the Knicks.
Oh, 100%. But a lot of people were picking the Mets to be
to
a
win the
potential World Series
division,
team.
at least.
The only thing I'll say about New York baseball, they're 5-1 against the Cubs this year, the Yankees and the Mets. So take that, brother.
Nothing this year. We
I
know that.
Especially against New York teams.
Next call.
Hi, guys. Do you see Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Real Madrid?
I mean, this is an interesting thing that Cristiano Ronaldo now, because of apparently he doesn't want to pay taxes. Boy, he can join.
He's got rich guy problems. You would know about
in this
that.
country. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
He says I voluntarily paid them. Don't we all sort of involuntarily pay them? So Cristiano Ronaldo would leave a place where he's just won a couple of the biggest world tournaments.
Unbelievable 12 months for him, Michael. Two
It's been like
Champions
Sidney
League and the
Crosby.
Euro. Yes.
Right? And Portugal won.
Yep.
So this guy's on top of the world, and this is not good enough. He sounds like Kornheiser. No, he can't be happy. And so now he wants out of Real Madrid. Really, where we go? They're going to trade him to Manchester United? Is that a possibility?
If you're Manchester United, try to get him in some type of transfer. Manchester United has the money. It gives them the
They've had a couple
stage.
down years, right?
He started his career there. Ibrahimovic, who's a big-time player for Manchester United, out with a knee injury. Wayne Rooney could be out. Ronaldo would be perfect in the
but
EPL.
you would volunteer, you would request, you would demand your way out of Spain and Real Madrid.
But look he's basically accomplished everything there. Go to, help United get back to top.
Man, that seems sort of weird to me. That's it. But in our future, I see us discussing a miserable U.S. Open for some of the biggest names in golf.
And just how is Michael Phelps' race against a shark going to work out?
The
Didn't work out for
shark
Tony.
is going to be physically confined.
That's
I
not
think
the
we
same.
can bet on that.
Make it fair.
But the Sharks in
Open waters.
You want it like Ben Johnson and Carl Lewis?
Hey.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Time to get happy, people. Happy 47th birthday, Phil Mickelson. What a week. He withdrew from the U.S. Open, the only major championship he has not won, to attend his daughter Amanda's high school graduation. She's the senior class president and graduation speaker. He's got to be there. I have to admit, I'd be rooting harder for Phil than anybody in the field to win, because how many more chances does he have? Hale Irwin's the oldest winner ever. He was 45.
Your daughter graduates high school once. You go there. Mine graduates next Thursday.
You'll
I
be
won't see
there.
you at the draft, brother.
I'll be there with you. Be there with you in Evanston. Happy anniversary, Claudell Washington and Mario Soto. On this day 33 years ago, Soto got tired of Claudell blasting home runs off him and threw at him. And Washington, after going oopsie with his following swing, used his launched bat as an excuse to go to the mound and confront Soto, setting off a brawl. Frankie, if I'm Claudell Washington, that bat arrives at the mound at the same time as my feet.
Soto hit him with the ball, then threw the ball at him. By the way, Joe Torre, Bob Gibson's out there. Pitching
Tony
coach
Perez.
with the Atlanta Braves.
We got Hall of Famers out there, dude.
Breaking up fights.
Amazing. Happy trails, Greg Robinson. The Rams used the overall number 2 pick in 2014 to pick Robinson, yet yesterday traded him to the Lions for a 6th rounder 3 years later. Robinson was part of the draft pick haul the Rams got for letting the Redskins move up to draft RG3. So, Frank, this is exhibit 4,331 for why I pay absolutely zero attention to the draft.
Well, your go-to website for football, Pro Football Focus, ranked him 78 out of 79 tackles. Wow. Blocking. I get with the run, that is.
One follow-up, Zach Lowe, Mark Stein report that the Sixers could actually be trading up to take Josh Jackson, not just Fultz. Anyway, we're running out of show. Let's run through the big finish. Rory McIlroy, Jason Day missed the cut at the Open. Dustin Johnson, right on the line. Your thoughts,
That
Frank?
course has brought the big guys all to their knees. The NBA suspended Monte Ellis and Reggie Bullock 5 games apiece for drug policy violations. Is that a big deal?
5 on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe. Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier says the NFL has a Patriots problem and Pittsburgh aims to solve it. You like that?
That's a great rivalry, but I don't think they're going to solve it. Matt Davidson of the White Sox has homered in 4 straight games. Does he get another tonight?
Getting warm in the Midwest, balls flying out. Yeah, maybe so. Last one in Toronto. Michael Phelps will race a shark on Discovery Shark Week. You going to watch that?
100%. Here's what he has to do to prepare for it. Steven Spielberg's movie, Jaws. Watch that. He'll swim fast. Bump, 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 bump. We're out of time. Thanks for watching. I'm Frank Isola.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend, Knuckleheads. You can get the podcast on ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. We started and ended the show with shark jokes.
Do they have sharks in Canada?
I don't know.